was a creation of Los Angeles, California. And before I continue, I want to make two things clear. One, this video is not an attack on the characters of everyone currently here in this modern day. Two, everything I say in this video can be easily researched. It's public information. See, what many people don't know is that there was more than one clan. The first started in a very small town in Tennessee in 1865. This is the one that most people know literally nothing about. But the second was started in 1915 in Los Angeles by a Hollywood film called Birth of a Nation. And this is the clan most people recognize and identify with. You know, the hoods, the horses, the burning of the crosses. It all started with this movie, which is widely recognized as the most anti-black film in history and was the biggest of its time. And it went like this. This is a character of the film by the name of Colonel Cameron, a former military officer for the Confederacy. And as you can see, he's all depressed and down on himself because they just lost the war and the slaves were freed. Until he randomly sees these two white children playing some type of game with a sheet. And for whatever reason, in the midst of running with this sheet, they put it over themselves. I don't know why. Maybe it was hide and seek, but then some black kids also came out of nowhere. And when they seen them in the sheet, they thought they was ghosts and ran away. And by the way, for the sake of respect, those ain't black kids. Those are white kids in blackface. But anyway, this gives Colonel a bright idea. Like, I know what I'm about to do about these coloreds now. It's time to spread the word. And here you have it. The clan that we know as we know them today. And I know I'm a liar. People just gonna come here telling me that I'm lying again, like always, despite the fact that I'm showing y'all this in y'all face. But believe it or not, it gets worse, y'all. Before this moment where they quote unquote solved the problem of freed blacks in America, they went on a literal campaign about how our freedom would eventually lead to us oppressing and turning them into second-class citizens. Look at him. He can't stand it. This sidewalk belongs to us as much as it does you, Colonel Cameron. Wow. They pushed the narrative of how we'd surely destroy the voting process and cheat our way into power. Saw how he just shoved that man. And look at this guy right here. Look at him. Keep an eye on him. Put another vote in. Of course. And after cheating their way into government positions, they just in the Capitol building getting drunk, y'all. And got their feet kicked up, acting a damn fool. Really, this is what they put out. And this might have been what pissed people off the most. They gonna make interracial marriage legal. And look at them, y'all. Look at them. Black men with white women. And you know how that go. And after watching this film, as I told you guys before, became the biggest movie in the nation, people were furious. It caused riots, hangings, shootings, and even bombings throughout the entire nation. And the once small anti-black hate group became huge. It actually peaked at over 6 million members. And not only did this fuel further hatred for blacks amongst white Americans, it also fueled anti-blackness in immigrants and self-hatred of blacks themselves. And this is the conversation they don't want to have. And that includes many of the blacks of California.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and this episode I'm gonna try to explain for the dense racists that be in my comment section in the back. They tend to think that Drewski playing Whiteface is the same as these people that have this past Halloween played what they call it, Blackface. Now, hopefully that video that I played before I started talking explained a little bit as to why there's a difference. Now, somebody posted this monkey ass shit, and on Twitter. It's an AI generated picture of a video of a would-be movie called Black Chicks, right, starring Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey. It says undercover, out of their league again. And somebody posted in the captions, now why is this not okay, but what Drewski did or what the Wayans brothers did with White Chicks, why is that cool? So I'm gonna try to break this down for the remedial children on Twitter. This necessarily in like its format, right, movie form, would not necessarily be offensive because it's within context, which is why black people didn't really get bent out of shape when Robert Downey Jr. had blackface on in Tropic Thunder. He was an actor that was from Australia, and he was getting the method acting playing a black dude in the army, and they were actually in the army, so he kept on the makeup so he wouldn't be readily made. black people thought that shit was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious because I'm a dude playing a dude that's playing a dude. Right? That was funny. That was satire. That was not blackface or Jim Crow. The reason that this is offensive right here, you got Lily Gaddis, and I really don't like shining light on her. The girl in the middle smoking the meth pipe, and I guess they said the girl at the top left was biracial, which is still offensive because it's mocking like half of her heritage, but I digress. And then two white dudes down at the bottom. The reason that it's offensive is because when people portray blackface during Halloween, it's to openly mock black people. There's no other reason other than to mock black people. So it's offensive because, one, it actually recalls a time where people used to openly mock black people during like the 1900s. And we know because Jim Crow laws were started between the 1880s or 1890s all the way into the 1960s. The minstrel show was an actual component of blackface and Jim Crow laws. I think the guy that did Jim Crow laws, I guess his name was okay, it says right here, the term Jim Crow was not named after a person, but after a character created by the white minstrel show performer Thomas Dartmouth Daddy Rice in the 1830s. Rice developed a caricature of an African American based on a disabled slave, performed a popular song and dance routine called Jump Jim Crow. The name Jim Crow eventually became a derogatory slur for African Americans, and by the 19th century, a label for the system of state and local laws that enforce racial segregation. So because a character that was portrayed in the film, an African slave, played by a white man, may I add, literally danced in a routine called Jump Jim Crow, they literally made laws called Jim Crow laws that were derogatory directly to black citizens. So when white people are wearing blackface, it's to openly mock black people. It's a derogatory word. It comes from a derogatory laws. It comes from a derogatory dance routine founded by a racist motherfucker that used to be a minstrel performer. That's why it's offensive. There is no history of whiteface. So when black people put on whiteface or white face paint makeup, it's just to poke fun at white people. It doesn't recall a time of racism, open Jim Crow laws, motherfuckers being freshly freed from slavery. None of that shit. It's just to poke fun at white people's mannerisms and the way they act. It's not to poke fun at them because they were once slaves that were subsequently persecuted by laws that were named after a nigga that used to do a routine to mock them. If you didn't understand that, then you might want to get your IQ up, because what I just said was a mouthful, but it was plenty complex and it made sense. All you gotta do is do your Googles. Like all these white people that come on my post talking about I'm a racist because I talk about racist. No, you're just dumb and you don't do research. So anything that speaks in objection to white people or things that are racist done by white people, yeah, I would see how that came across as racist because I'm calling you out on your stuff. Don't want to be racist? Don't do racist shit. Don't want to do racist shit? Read a book. It ain't that hard. Hell, you got Google. You don't even got to do your Googles. You ain't got to read a book. You can watch a video. You can see an overview that will spell out, man, you might want to not do this shit because your forefathers or your ancestors used to do crazy, crude ass shit to newly freed slaves. So I hope that answered a plethora of questions and or pushback against my Drewski video, my Charlie Kirk video, because they seem to think that, oh, black people do whiteface and nobody cares. That's why. One is satire, one is racial mockery. I would have thought that was obvious, but then I think most people don't, especially the niggas in the comment section. In any event, if you like this episode, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out. No.